This video is brought to you by Incogni. Stick around to hear more about the discount they're providing to the entire upper echelon community. Alright, before blowing this fraud scheme wide open, let's kick it off with definitions and context. To understand today's video, first we need to understand Steam, CSGO, and skin gambling. Steam should be pretty self-explanatory here, but for those that don't know, Steam is an online video game storefront owned and operated by a company called Valve, where you can buy games, play games, and also earn collectibles if the game decides to offer them. In reality, it's a fairly complex thing, but for the sake of our purposes today, all we need to understand is this. Steam is an enormous marketplace that facilitates the buying and selling of video games, but also facilitates a third-party economy of in-game items, sometimes holding real economic value. For some items, the value is just mere pennies, but for others, namely in specific video games that have cultivated a massive reputation, the value can be thousands, even tens of thousands of dollars per item for anything from skins to trading cards. One such example is called CSGO, Counter-Strike Global Offensive, where the skin economy is built around loot boxes, which can be opened with keys, which are only available as a microtransaction purchase, and those loot boxes will yield cosmetic items like weapon camos, stickers, or knife wraps, ranging in value from worthless to quite literally over $1 million. Now, this by itself wouldn't necessarily mean much without a vibrant economy of gambling in tow, because it turns out that the CSGO player base, using items from their Steam inventories, have found a way to gamble without regulation, age limits, or legal oversight of any kind. The process is rather simple, but for the sake of demonstration, here it is on screen now through a website called CSXWILD. In order to participate, users must pledge at least $10 of value using in-game items, which then become locked in their inventory as they play against whoever else decides to join, maintaining a percentage chance to win, purely correlated to how much skin value they choose to stake. In theory, the game is really simple. Put in more money, have a higher chance to win, and if you do, walk away with everything that everyone staked in the pool. However, if you lose, everything that you put in is gone and is awarded to the winner. Simple, right? Sure. See, CSGO skin gambling is an enormous ecosystem. When items that can only be pulled from loot boxes are then sellable for tens, even hundreds of thousands of convertible real dollars, it's like a casino and a lottery all rolled into one, that is accessible without regulation or requirement at any age. To really hammer this home, traditional gambling, such as slot machine pulls in Las Vegas, are regulated by mandatory minimums and legal odds. There is an oversight board, a commission on ethics, and various other structures in place to preserve the integrity of the games. But CSGO skin gambling? Yeah, not so much. Doesn't really have any of those. According to an analysis done by Jeremy Ray, which I've cited on more than one occasion in multiple videos, CSGO contains significantly lower RTP, return to player numbers, than any mandatory minimum slot machine in all of Las Vegas, and also has lower payout thresholds than almost any regulated casino worldwide. Simply put, it's gambling, only significantly worse, but less regulated, and all of it is happening through third-party merchants, hosts, and brokers. Valve facilitates the item infrastructure, third-party casinos facilitate the gambling, and various different outlets allow for withdrawals by swapping items for actual currency, which is technically against the terms of service for Valve and disallowed by Steam, but they don't really care. They let it happen. Before going further, it's time for today's video sponsor, Incogni. Every day that you exist online, your data is being sold by third-party brokers and accessed without your knowledge as a result of data breaches. Most people may not know this, or worse yet, they don't even care, but it's actually a very big concern in a rapidly growing digital landscape. Companies hold and utilize a lot of your personal information for business purposes, which goes way beyond the companies you actually trust and opted to sign up for. The places you enter your information willingly are the gateway, but after that, it goes out everywhere. There are hundreds of data brokers peddling your information to the highest bidder, and it's an impossible process to contact all of them yourself and fight objections or get your data removed. So for that, there is Incogni. The process is very simple. Sign up for the website, give them specific legal permission to work on your behalf in this particular regard, and let them know what kind of information they will be having removed. I have personally done this, and within minutes, there were over 100 different requests being sent out to all of these data brokers, most of which I had no idea even existed. Incogni is going to help me leverage my existing rights to have that information removed, and as a somewhat public figure, I'm very grateful for that. Incogni is created by Surfshark, another long-standing partner of the channel, which means we have a very special deal and discount as well for today. The first 100 people to click the link down below in the description and use code Echelon at checkout will get 20% off their subscription to Incogni. Again, link down below and promo code Echelon for the first 100 viewers or clickers who use it to get 20% off their subscription. Big thank you to Incogni for sponsoring the channel. So why does it matter? Well, to put this in perspective, let's analyze the admittedly very small numbers of a website like CSXWILD. To be clear, CSXWILD doesn't even rank in the top 10 websites designed for this purpose, okay? It's basically nothing, but let's do the math anyway. In preparation for the video, I left my recording on and captured sequential increments of roughly 1 hour in length. This was a simple method of doing things because CSXWILD only has one central feed where a single type of game is played, and by time-lapsing the footage, I could get a rough idea of precisely how much money was flowing through it. What I found was that for a period of many hours, the average pot size was typically between $300 and $500 in value, with between 30 and 50 active participants. Running maybe every 2 to 4 minutes, these $300 to $500 pots were being awarded to actual Steam users, who are still, even now, as far as I can tell, staking hundreds of dollars of skins per minute on the website. With an extremely loose average of, let's say, $12,000 per hour in total payouts, which is pretty standard for all of the different segments that I did, from what I saw, this means that the website is quite easily processing over $250,000 per day, with a public count of over 131,000 total games. Applying the averages that I saw with my footage, that would be at least $50 million of value routed through this website during its lifespan. And again, CSXWILD doesn't even rank in the top 10 gambling websites for CSGO skins worldwide. It's a very small fish in a massively big pond. Ready for the bombshell? The games are rigged. Now, people make that kind of statement or claim rather often, so allow me to elaborate, because a lot of times it's empty, or they're just angry about losing, or they say the term rigged, but they don't really define what they mean, and they don't really back it up. This right here is video footage of a Steam user approaching my source, right, the source that came to me, making a proposal for advertising and stating, quote, "I'm searching for people in this game for advertising a CSGO site, and if you help me, I will pay you every week. What do you say?" End quote. By itself, nothing really out of the ordinary, but reading further, quote, "Payment by skins from CSGO on good amount. You just put the site in nickname or you change the avatar to the site logo. You play Steam games / active in Steam and promote it." End quote. Now, if we comb through the Steam community player archives, we can see something interesting here. There are a number of people, possibly after accepting a similar offer, who have their name listed as CSXWILD either before or after their traditional tag. And this does not include the profiles advertising in different ways, such as the logo as their profile picture, for example. These profiles heavily skew towards active CSGO players, many of them in-game for a significant number of hours per day, with a lot of different items in their inventories, and presumably driving traffic to CSXWILD in exchange for skins. But there's a catch. According to the person making the offer to my source, payment will be given by rigging the outcome of gambling rounds, and to prove this, the person approaching my source told them to choose a winner in real time. Quote, "CSGO jackpot site. Skins depends on other players. I can make you a winner like 2 times in a week, and of course I can proof or etc. if you want it. Can I show you how it works?" End quote. Further down, they direct my source to the homepage, describe what they will see, and say, "Choose a winner." This person, going by the name of Mira on Steam, then proceeds to rig the outcome of CSXWILD jackpot rounds in real time on video footage, choosing a winner based on the name that they were given to prove that they can pay for advertisement of the website by rigging the matches of their own gambling infrastructure. To test this, my source was asked to choose a specific winner, and when that worked, they gave a name and that person won. To ensure that this was not a coincidence, they chose the lowest win percentage player in the next round, and it happened again on command. This right here appears to be criminal activity. Now, my source has strung the conversation along as much as possible from there on out, but confronted by the reality that a pseudo-gambling website that is processing roughly $250,000 per day, by the way, was actively rigging the outcome of matches, well, they decided to forward me the evidence and see if something could be done. According to Statista, the CSGO skin gambling market exploded from 2015 to 2016 by an astounding $2.7 billion, which was more than a 100% increase year over year. I can't seem to find any rock-solid statistics for more recent years, but I'd be willing to bet that the market has not substantially decreased in size, and has, more likely, grown in the past 7 years, as gaming itself exploded to a larger audience. Think coronavirus, lockdowns, things like that. What does it all mean? Simple. It means that a multi-billion-dollar industry composed of third-party regulation-dodging vendors is directly choosing and rigging any game at any time for any reason. Anyone who places bets of any kind on CSXWILD is placing bets on a rigged platform, where someone can quite literally pick and choose who wins individual pots at will, and is doing precisely that in order to pay for advertising and trick more users into gambling on the website. In the terms of service for CSXWILD, it says, quote, "In order to maintain the website and pay for hosting, we take a fee between 0% and 4%. 8% if you don't have site name in your name at every end of a round, end quote. However, this website is quite possibly rigged every single round so that specific advertisers or insiders, whoever it may be, can be paid out with roughly $400 to $500 jackpots on command with no regard for the actual ethics or integrity of the game. Now, CSGO skin gambling is no stranger to controversy. At various different points, there have been undisclosed affiliations, like the owner of a skin gambling website heavily promoting it without telling anyone that he was actually a founder, or specific game odds being secretly given to individual influencers. But I have yet to see a stone-cold, rigged match advertising scheme that just openly tries to recruit people by showing them, random people just showing them, that the entire website is rigged against its own players. That was kind of unexpected. It's important to mention here, before I forget at least, that Valve has taken at least some legal action against CSGO skin gambling platforms in the past, but for the most part, the ecosystem remains relatively untouched. This is life-ruining potential right here that is unregulated, largely ignored, and yet somehow became a multi-billion-dollar industry where some websites processing hundreds of thousands of dollars per day are openly rigging all the matches, making this somehow worse than gambling because at least at a casino you theoretically have legally enforced odds and a lack of criminal backdoors. Gambling isn't a bug, it's a feature of CSGO, as seen through heavily advertised content from influencers, YouTubers, and streamers. Valve lets this happen as a result of their hands-off approach, but guys, you have to do something about this. I understand not wanting to curb stomp the entire industry since it drives massive engagement and revenue for the Steam storefront, but some of these websites have to be taken down, or at the very least regulated. Maybe that will now happen for this one, maybe not, but if you or anyone you know engages with the CSGO skin gambling ecosystem, be very careful about what websites you trust, because there is no guarantee that you are even playing a legitimate game. You may just be funneling your money into a rigged outcome jackpot pool that is being manipulated in real time to pay out insiders. Just be very careful. That's it. If you want to support, check out the links down below, Locals and Patreon for a monthly subscription, merch, social media, and the video sponsor, of course, but I'll cut it there and stop rambling. As always, thank you all for watching, and have a nice night.